So my father taught me two very important things that I carry with me in my life now. One is an appreciation for music, in particular rock and roll. Buddy Holly was my dad's hero, and I have the ultimate pleasure in my life, the honor to have played my dad's hero. I went to I trained as an actor and played, as a young actor, you dream of playing a lead in the West End. And I played fucking Buddy Holly in the Buddy Holly story in the West End. My dad sat there. There's nothing bigger than that. After that, everything that, oh no, too early. No. After that, every job that I've basically had in my life after that has been a side quest, because you can't top that. I will carry that pride with me for the rest of my life. And although it was cruel that my dad was taken from us early, always remember the appreciation. And with every video that I do here, it's a token of my appreciation to my father for making me appreciate music. But the other thing that he taught me was gardening. Not flowers, but growing veg, growing crops, learning about soil. He had an allotment for years in Newcastle, and when he passed away, I took it over for a little while. I was on the other side of town, but eventually, what I did was I turned my back garden into an allotment. That's what I do, and with the boys now, I try and teach them, how to grow. You can stick a potato that you've just in soil, and it will grow more potatoes. It is a wonderful thing to be in touch a little bit with nature in that regard. And I'd urge anyone who has a patio or anything, just grow something. It'll make you feel great about yourself. So I looked at this song and went, 4 minutes 42, brilliant. Be in and out in about 10 minutes, no problem. Will we fuck? At the moment, I even just thought about Lomi, just that use that, I love the English language, but fuck me, Vessel, you're pushing it here, lad. Now, I know I said that my dad's hero was Buddy Holly, but my musical hero is Jeff Buckley, and that's rather why I've already had a little cry, because when I played the beginning of this song, I heard it was just Buckley. This is so Jeff Buckley coded, and I think that the man behind the mask has a huge appreciation for Jeff Buckley, for his vocal abilities. Part of the reason why I love Jeff Buckley so much was when I was a kid and I got into music, I was a boy soprano. I know, right? So I used to sing. I was like, my first play was, I played Mabel in the Pirates of Penzance, the Gilbert and Sullivan operetta. So yeah, I was a proper up there. But as I got older, my voice obviously changed. But when you're a kid and you sing high, obviously other kids bully you for it. So singing high was not a thing when I was a kid. I'm 40 now. Like, if you sung high, it was, yeah, look at Glenn singing like a girl. Yeah, it's not a fun thing to hear when you're 25. Sorry, that's not funny, but that's how we deal with trauma, innit? But yeah, I was a boy soprano, and then I heard Jeff Buckley's voice. And the first song I think I heard was Last Goodbye. Kiss me, please kiss me. And his voice was so ethereal and he was, and yet in the live performances he was so aggressive and he was so powerful, and songs like Eternal Life felt like it would melt your fucking face off. And then he would go and sing, this is, I suppose what I'm getting to is Jeff Buckley is the reason why I really picked up a guitar. If you look in the back of my studio, I have a 1950s Telecaster that my mum and dad got me for my 18th birthday, because it was the closest thing that looked to that yellow telly that Buckley had, and that sound that it made on songs like Hallelujah, on the recording, and that the way that the amp seems to be in the corner of the room, and it's just some natural reverb of like a cave, a grotto, if we want to get all Sleep Token about it. But the way that Buckley could create that sound, and the way his voice against the highly reverbed electric guitar being picked out. And so the moment I heard Fields of Elation, I was right back there for a second. And that's brilliant. That's what music can do within a few notes of this song. I thought about my dad, and I thought about the first guitar I ever had. I thought about why I love music. Like this is why we love Sleep Token. So fuck it, Jesus Christ! Talk about being. I'm a bit of a sensitive sausage, in case you hadn't noticed. So yeah, before we go into the song proper, Fields of Elation. Obviously, I was talk about the title. Elation is quite an interesting word because obviously elation is fantastic. It's a wonderful feeling, but elation can sometimes be related as well to lightheadedness. So a little loss of consciousness, and I think that's quite nice. Even just before we've even heard a note, to think about. These are fields of elation where I am so happy that I am possibly just going to lose consciousness. And that is where sleep lives. And if we learned anything from the last video, he just wants to be taken back to sleep. Right then, fields of elation.
The daylight recedes and you listen. There's a room buries the eyes like death in motion. Nobody else can pull me out.
Oh, there's so much to talk about that.
The fields of elation, quiet and lonely.
All right, let's go and have a look at those lyrics. The daylight recedes in unison. He sings, rather, the daylight recedes in unison this room. That is the run-on line. Daylight recedes. Also, I can't do that. Just to be clear, this is why Vessel is such a phenomenon. Part of the reason why I was so fascinated with Jeff Buckley was his use of his falsetto, and you hear that a lot with Vess in this. Like, I can't. Daylight recedes. He goes back. That's right on my passaggio, right on my break. I can't. I have to sing daylight recedes, and it's way too powerful and in my mixed voice. It's not very beautiful, but the way that Vessel sits on it, because he's got that range that just leads between his mixed voice and his falsetto, that he's just able to flick between them. It's a very cultured baritone, high baritone voice, but high baritones are normally blessed with a wonderful falsetto range. Tenors, like myself, we can go, and then after that, we're not so fantastic. So even in the lyrical quality of the daylight recedes, it's giving us like this idea of peace, of headfulness. No, heading. What if this was a strain of weed? They would say it was a heady thing. So you're getting like daylight recedes, like a lullaby almost. It's all in his head voice. But the daylight recedes in unison. Surely just the daylight recedes, the first thing we're getting is the lyric, we're taking away daylight, so we're getting towards the night, to sleep. That's where he wants to be. He wants to be in his labyrinth bed with sleep. So the daylight recedes in unison. Now, for something to recede in unison, I would presume that it was broken up into different clusters, different whatever. So then it makes it feel like it's a command. The daylight has receded in unison because someone has told them to recede in unison. And I don't know if is that playing playing the king, as we talk about in King Lear. Playing the king means when all of the other actors are on stage, it is their job to play how high and mighty another character is, how exalted they are. If everybody on the rest of the stage doesn't act like you're a big deal, you're not a big deal. You know, it is a form of projection. Christ, we're back to Young again. So playing the king in these lyrics as Vessel is creating this piece of musical theatre about Sleep Token, it's understandable that why he would use verbiage and what have you that exalts We only have the words. We only have the music to go off. So he has to create this tapestry. He has to create this story. So the daylight recedes in unison. In the way I've interpreted it, like it's commanded. This room buries the hours like death in motion. This room buries the hours. But back to burying again at the very first line of the very first song of Sleep Token, bury me inside this labyrinth bed in Thread the Needle. But now we're burying the hours like death. Time was dilated in Thread the Needle, but now there are hours. We're burying hours like death. That's a little more ominous than maybe, I think, Fields of Elation. Fields of Elation, how lovely. This room where we are as the daylight recedes, as it becomes night, in this room, we bury the hours like death in motion, like the death as it continues. So the ever moving passage of time, I guess. And then this line, and fuck me, right? Strap in, folks. We're going to be here a while. Nobody else can pull me out. I've just realized it looks like I'm not wearing any pants again. I've got shorts on. Right. Nobody else can pull me out. Let's think about this in a bunch of different ways, all of which can pertain to the story, the law, the man behind the mask. Okay. When you scream or you ask somebody to pull you out, think about the situations where you've seen it in, I don't know, action films or whatever. If somebody's going, help, pull me out, it's, well, what is it? Quicksand, tar, water, more so than anything else. So this is so there is this idea that it is potentially terror. There is terror involved. I need you to pull me out of this terrible situation. And there are very profound lyrics going, particularly to our more watery friend in This Place Will Become Your Tomb, the second Sleep Token album. There are a lot of really heavy ideas about water and why it would be necessary for somebody to pull Vessel out or to pull the man behind the mask out. So the idea that nobody else can do it. You are the only one. Nobody else can pull me out. There are also, as well with pull me out, there are sexual connotations. But I think what the most likely interpretation, for want of a better term, again, remember, this is all just my interpretation, but the most likely interpretation is nobody else can pull me out of this state of mind. Nobody else can pull me out of sleep, or rather, nobody else can pull me out of consciousness. It could work either way. This deity, this god, this shadow, nobody else can pull me out. But I think maybe most likely it is in terms of consciousness. Nobody else can pull me out of consciousness, or rather pull me into it. Again, a lot of this is rooted in shadow work, and so is it that the idea that you can pull the shadow out? That's exactly what individuation is. It's pulling the shadow into the self, making a complete, whole, authentic self. But the last one, and it's so dumb. This is so dumb. But I was sat in the car with Lolly K the first time I listened to this, and nobody else can pull me out. And I went, it's King Arthur, isn't it? It's Excalibur. And while that is, a ridiculous notion, King Arthur was laid to rest in the land of apples, right? The Isle of Avalon, the Isle of apples. The cover of this album is the bough with the apple blossoms coming out of it. Vessel offers us an apple at the beginning not the beginning, over the course of Thread the Needle. He offers us original sin, apples which are deeply rooted in where King Arthur ends up laying. But the idea that Excalibur was the sword and the stone, King Arthur pulled the out and he was King of England and it was fantastic. And now all I can think of is fucking Monty Python.
You don't frighten us, English pig dogs! Go and boil your bottom, sons of a silly person! I'll blow my nose at you, so-called Arthur King! You and all your silly English sniggets.
But there are so many times that Vessel talks about, oh, Aquarija, laying down the roses, picking up the sword. He's there with a blade so often. There are blades and swords are mentioned so often in Sleep Token. In fact, at times, Vessel even seems to have an inflated sense of self with sleep in certain songs, particularly in Tomb and Take Me Back to Eden, where he's saying, no, I'll be your protector. I'm going to be the one that fights for you. In fact, fucking, we've even got that in Provider, even in Arcadia. So this idea that nobody else can pull me out because I'm fucking Excalibur and you're the only one that can wield me. That, honestly, that was the first thing that came to my head in all of this. But, I've done a lot of, yeah. But while we're looking at the syntax as well, sometimes I like to pull the lyrics out and just look at them as like a monologue, for want of a better term. Nobody else can pull me out the fields of elation, quiet and low me. You can read that two different ways, right? Nobody else can pull me out. Cool. Full stop of whatever he is talking about, whatever the subject matter is of that line. The fields of elation, quiet and low me. So it's either nobody else can pull me out. The fields of elation, quiet and low me. Or nobody else can pull me out the fields of elation, quiet and low me. So why would he want someone to pull him out of such a peaceful and fertile land? So when it's structured like that, it makes it feel a bit different. Also, the way that the reverb is on the guitar here, where again, it feels like that if you struck a string particularly hard, it would really resonate. It feels like we're right on the edge of the gain with the music here, and what that does is it creates a dreamy quality. We're right on the edge of consciousness, like you're just passing through from that moment where you're not quite asleep, and you just move into okay, something will jar me out of it. And it does feel like one little guitar string, one little pluck of a fingernail against a B string there would just jolt you back, because the music is very comfortable. It's like a warm like duvet. It's coddling you to sleep. The fields of elation, quiet and loamy. And loamy, but I know I put it at the beginning of the video, loamy soil is the most fertile soil. It's like 40-40-20 between, I think, sand, silt, and clay, which means that it carries a huge amount of organic compounds in it. It means it's really well draining. It is perfect. In America, soy, corn, it's really, really fertile ground. So the idea that we're in fertile ground here, it's quiet and loamy, and it's so like the planting season, like spring, where we've just put all of the seeds in, everything's fertile, it's quiet and loamy. We're waiting for growth to happen. So at this point in the song, it feels like we did birth in Thread the Needle, and now it's like waiting for those seeds that have been planted to grow. Loam is fertile ground, the most fertile ground. From here, things shall grow, but I want them to grow together in sleep, in this lovely, warm kind of unconsciousness. If we're going to go back to maybe a more like shadow work psychology on that is going, okay, I am ready to embrace you. Now I want to see these things grow. But unfortunately, as farmers in the UK know, every single year there are hardships and hardships on top of hardships in order to make something grow, in order to make that fertile land. The seed has to germinate, then you have to look after the seedling, and then the root structure has to take. There's all of these little processes that it takes in order to grow something in fertile land. You can't just throw the seed down and not tend it. This is almost a metaphor for relationships. Unless you tend them, they won't grow. So nobody else can pull me out. These fields of elation, quiet and loamy. I'm waiting for stuff to grow, but we will have to tend it together in order for that to happen.
Your name is a sin. I breathe like oxygen, caught in the careless arms of lust again.
Your name is a sin. I breathe like oxygen, caught in the careless arms of lust again. Are you fucking kidding me? These might be two of my favorite consecutive lyrical lines in all of the Sleep Token catalogue. And we've brought a little bit of depth to it musically there, with the drum starting to come in the background and us getting that panned kind of crack of... It's not lightning. It doesn't feel so threatening as that, but a little kind of, it's almost a wooden sound that's cracking from right to left, where it would, like, I suppose, like the snare sound would be. But are you like, your name is a sin. I breathe like oxygen. Your name is a sin. So to say your name is unholy. To utter your name, he is, it's referred to. Sleep Token Vessel says in the first interviews in Metal Hammer that we worship him, that it is a deity, a male deity, and that somehow takes on a female persona over the course of a lot of these songs. But your name is a sin, like he who shall not be named. It is forbidden to say your name, but I breathe it like oxygen. You are all I require, no matter how dark you are, no matter how shadow you are, no matter what darkness you bring with you. I have to breathe you like oxygen. I need you to survive. Fucking hell. The careless arms of lust. The idea that the want of our bones supersedes all. That eventually things will happen, and we get it in a moment. What it does in the music, it does a really long pan all the way up through the octaves, and then we get into that drop, and it feels a little bit like this song doesn't have. People who've watched a bunch of my videos will know about like the musical theatre theory of a song needs a build up, an orgasm, and then a post-coital chat. This isn't necessarily an orgasm as such. That moment where we build up to that, caught in the careless arms of lust again, breathes into that, because it's lust. At this point, it isn't love. Back in Thread the Needle, it says, we spend the night in fascination. Not we spend the night in love. We don't spend it like wrapped up in each other, talking to each other about our futures and what we want to achieve together, and children and families and jobs and homes and holidays. And I'm making it a little bit more relative to modern society, but I realize this is a vessel talking to a god. It's slightly different, but there is that idea of you share dreams, you share everything with someone that you love. But when you're fascinated with something, there is a sense of tactileness. It's not so confessional. And so the arms of lust are careless. They don't care about you. They're not going to wrap you up and envelop you and tell you that they love you. They're careless. They will let you go. You will wander free again, and lust will not care. But the way the lyrics say, caught in the careless arms of lust again, caught like branches, like labyrinth again.
Stop it! Help!
What do you mean, help? We are helping.
We're helping hands.
That you've been caught. You didn't want to be here, but you've been caught. It isn't what the authentic self wants, but somehow you've projected yourself into this, a place where you can get caught in the careless arms of lust again. You can thread the needle time and time again. This is not one time. This is not a single instance. This is repetition. And with repetition comes ritual. And ritual is prayer. This is a prayer. This is an offering. All of this is still an offering.
Nobody else can pull me out.
There's two voices there.
The fields of elation
Come on. Oh, that was interesting. Oh, hang on. There's so fucking much to talk about. Nobody else can pull me out. You can sing that. It's musical theatre. It's fucking musical theatre. You could put that, You could put that in any fucking once. You could put that in like a fucking Mean Girls. There's a load of modern musical theatre songs where that refrain, that big, because it's what goes up to like an F sharp. Nobody else can like, but because again, Vessel's got such cultured thin folds, the top end of his range, that mixed voice into his falsetto. I can't. That's a weird note for me. An F sharp for a tenor, and going to Fs and Gs. That's where my not so good notes are. But Vessel sits in them so beautifully and manages to lilt. I'm sorry, we're gonna have to go back. Fuck it. Listen, it's gonna be a long one again. Shit happens. Sky, body, fucking sea. So clever. It's so intricate. And this looks like blood platelets. You know, you see 3D designs of blood, and then all of a sudden it goes to the shadow. Something is assembling here, but it's going from blood to shadow, like it's clashing. Quiet and lonely, nobody else can pull me out. Fields of elation, quiet and... The way he says it is almost like he speaks singing it. It's quiet and... It's got this little push in it, and I'm so impressed with Sleep Token on so many levels, but this is one of them that... Sometimes he does little things. Rain is a great example of it. God, we'll get there. Where he does little, not. Do you know when I play "Go Your Own Way" by Fleetwood Mac? Right. Whenever I've done that like I've been playing with a band or whatever, I've been fronting like a covers band. Whenever you play that, the only thing that people ever really sing with full gusto is Lindsay's ad libs. Those fucking hang on. Anybody ever sings is "Go your own way," because there are little bits that you put in that song that probably weren't there in the original recording, and you thought, yeah, I might just throw that in on a take, and it sticks in the record, and then people for the rest of fucking time will sing that ad lib or that little thing. I mean, music has become very regimented now, not so free as it was in terms of songwriting. In the past, everything is tuned to within an inch of its life. There isn't so much, natural organicness to music as there was. And I was probably at 40 years old. I was the last wave of catching on to some of that. But Sleep Token, in amongst the auto-tuned vocals and the techniques that are, not auto-tuned, Melodyne, tuned vocals that are there for a reason. There is depth to this. There are little bits that go in there that make you go, oh, I'm going to remember that bit. It's not all about just the melody of the chorus. Sometimes it's about those little things that you can drop in that, are just orally pleasing. Those little, like we said before, it's ADHD music. Those little, like me getting obsessed over the whoops on Emergence. Oh, that's interesting. Right. So, for any of you that have had children that have had a scan and have seen, what looks like a Cheeto, really, at some point in the gestation process, it looks like a potato with arms and legs and a head. So even here, we're getting the birth of the mask. We saw the mask in Thread the Needle, but this feels more like, okay, we're establishing the mask, but in that, we're not seeing it. It's not fully formed at this point in the song. Sky above. Just a quick comment on those guitars there. Similarly to Thread the Needle, quite often the same note. I mean, yeah, we're talking like low strung, 8-string guitars here, and it's very like high. It's very trebly actually for an 8-string. I mean, at that point, the strings are tuned so low, you've got to cut through in the mix. But that single note that is used, repetition ritual, the same. It's syncopated. We're back to where we were at the end. It's a very similar breakdown to Thread the Needle, where although the drums sometimes sit straight, the guitars are always playing in kind of syncopation against them. Oh, and that piano as well, the piano line has just been playing the same note over and over again. And then once we all come together where the drums and the guitars play kind of a chorus, if you like, in the breakdown together, then we get a lilting piano line, which is much more complimentary, much more orally pleasing. That's really nice.
Losing my faith in our lives apart. I'm losing my faith in our lives apart. I'm losing my
Our lives are... Oh, it's ever so slightly out of time. Our lives is being repeated. But it's coming out of time, like time dilation. Right, okay, let's talk about the first vessel mask. I'm not going to claim to know anything about runes. Don't. I know that in the interviews he said that the design there is runes that are meant to represent sleep token. Oh, hang on. Let's take a proper look at the mask. Yeah, I still know how this works. So I can see the S. I can see the T. I know obviously these are runes, but it is a face. What always puzzles me about this is why it looks like either the not the branches, the root of a tree coming from the mouth, but it could also be interpreted as a cleft lip. As a vocal coach, obviously, I've worked with people who've had surgery to correct cleft lips, both for aesthetic reasons, for how the person has wanted to look, but also in order to help correct the way that they talk as well. So it's interesting. I don't know if there's anything to that. We do get a definitive ending here, which we don't get on Thread the Needle, where it rather it fades. And in Sleep Token songs, fading out is always an idea that something is continuing, that the story has not finished. Okay, so let's talk through that repetition at the end. I'm losing my faith in our lives apart. So I'm losing my faith. Faith, obviously, a very heavy word, because faith can be applied to all manner of things. Losing faith in whether you want to continue doing your job, losing faith in whether you want to continue being in this relationship, but also faith is always associated with a sort, if you like, with your relationship with a deity, with your relationship with God, spirit, whether you believe in something, whether you believe in something bigger than you. So I'm losing my faith. That is a statement. He is saying, I'm losing my faith in our lives apart. That could mean that he is losing faith in the relationship that they have because of distance. I don't know if you're having a long distance relationship or whatever, and you were worried about it. I'm losing my faith in how we can make this work if we're not together. Well, let's apply that then to what we know so far about the relationship between vessel and sleep. I'm losing my faith in our lives apart. Could that be from sleep to vessel? Could that be, him, her, saying, I need you here all the time. I need you to be a vessel for me all the time, or you are not worthy of me. My hands are not worthy, which we will get to in EP2. Or could it be, and I think this is probably more likely, vessel from a shadow sense, saying, I'm losing my faith in our lives apart. I don't want to continue if we can't come together, if we can't be one, if I'm not with you, if we can't make a self, an authentic self, if I can't drag you up into me, or rather drag you up. Vessel wants to ascend. He wants to become whole. He wants to be godly. And as so many people have prophesied about Jungian psychology, becoming your authentic self is next to godliness. It is the closest we're going to know to it, by becoming actually who we are authentically. So maybe I'm losing my faith in our lives apart is a call to his shadow. I can't live without you, without the darkness, without sleep. I am never going to be whole. I will never be everything that I want to be. I'm losing my faith in our lives apart because my faith shall wane if we aren't together. Anyway, Sleep Token, what a band. 10 minutes, in and out. Yeah, it'd be easy. It'd be a quick one this time. It looks like I'm wearing... Yeah, sorry. What a band. And I need to correct as well that 2 is not playing on this record. I said that it was 2's punctuation on Thread the Needle. This is all Vessel. This is just one man, at home. Piano, guitar, mask, in his underpants. Yeah, just one man creating all of this lore from scratch. What a tremendous idea it was to do a series like this. It really is absolutely so interesting, and I'm so pleased I get to share it with everyone. Is that the postman? Turns out I was the postman. I've got an Ethernet cable now, so it won't be taking 6 hours to upload these videos. Anyway, I'm sure you know by now that a lot of reaction analysis channels, ones like myself, are not being targeted, but it's becoming increasingly difficult to put stuff out, because I could make a video that's an hour long and talk for 59 minutes and 57 seconds about a song, play 3 seconds of it, and somehow my contribution now is no longer valid. Non-transformative, apparently. Anyway, look, if you do want to support me, and you do like these videos and you want me to be able to continue them, and I want to keep going through this series, I have a Ko-fi page on screen now. Are the just amazing. Like, I can't tell you how stoked I am every time I go on my Ko-fi page after I posted a video, and the discussions there from people like I said, I've been sent pieces of art, pieces of poetry, just people who've really over contributed to help me invest into this Sleep Token story, and indeed, all of the analysis stuff I do outside of that as well. If you do feel like contributing in any way, I appreciate, obviously on YouTube, a like, subscribe, or whatever. And if you do want to join me in the Ko-fi community as well, the link is in the description. But listen, you're free range humans. Do what you want. That's exactly what Vessel wants. He wants people to go and learn about themselves and go on their own journey. And that's exactly what I want as well. I think music should be for everyone. And we're building a community over on Ko-fi, I think, where we're kind of falling in love with music again together, thanks to bands like Sleep Token. The next one will be When the Bow Breaks. All fucking, what is it, 8.5 minutes of it? So yeah, strap yourselves in for that one. But yeah, this is a delight to do. Thank you so much for everybody who watches, supports me on YouTube, supports me on Ko-fi, and everyone who came over from TikTok as well. Sleep Token is a phenomenal once in a lifetime band. And to use Jeff Buckley as an example for a second before I go, Jeff Buckley said that he didn't want to be remembered. He wanted the music to be remembered. But Sleep Token are around right now. Jeff isn't, and will never come back. So for the bands that you love and for the artists that you're really into, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks of them. Enjoy them now. Enjoy them while they're here. We are in this right now as Sleep Token. Even in Arcadia went to #1 all over the world. Let's just fucking enjoy the ride, because I'm delighted to be part of this. Anyway, I'll see you for the next video.